there are many ways that stay-at-home moms and one-income households make that work. The idea that we allow the husband's income to provide for the needs of the family. And it goes back to a lifestyle choices that we make every day. Some of them are big decisions, some of them are small decisions that add up. But there are a lot of ways that we can choose to make this lifestyle work. In today's world, everybody says, well, you can't afford for the wife to stay home because things cost too much. And I guess my answer to that is it depends on what things you're trying to buy. And so today I just wanted to share some of mine and my husband's ways that we choose to save money or make our money stretch farther so that we can make this work for us. I'm not an expert on finances and by any means. What I know is what I know from my own small realm of personal experience. And I just thought I would share it. Thought this might be something that somebody might benefit from, or maybe just find it interesting to see how somebody else handles things. So anyway, that's what I want to look at today. I just have a couple of things. I'm thinking that this may end up turning into maybe a couple of different videos, because I was brainstorming with my husband the other night and we came up with quite a list. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to pick the top few this time, and then if y'all like it, if it seems like it's something y'all are interested in, I can expand on it at a later time. So anyway, to get started with that, the very first thing that I wanted to mention is something that maybe might seem quite obvious, but I think it really is an important one in the world we live in today. And that is the fact that we do not pay for any subscriptions. So this can be anything like apps on our phones. If there's an app that we want to download, whether it is a game or even something that we're using, if it costs money, my husband and I don't do it. Usually there is a free version that you can use instead, or we just do without. So there is one way that we're not losing money every month to a subscription that we forgot about. Do we really use it? Is it worth it? It's just not even a thing. Other subscriptions would include television subscriptions. We have chosen, for a couple of different reasons, but money is a big one in this, we have chosen to not pay for any television service. We don't have Dish, we don't have DirecTV, we do not have a satellite or anything for television channels. We have a television, we have a DVD player. And everything we watch is something that we will buy on a DVD. If we like it well enough to buy it, then we buy it. Now, sometimes, yes, we buy movies that you watch one time and you think, oh, that was a waste of money. And so we end up getting rid of that DVD. But that doesn't happen very often because we don't buy movies very often or buy television shows. We just choose to watch what we have a lot of the time. And we also have one smart television in our house, so it has the YouTube and the free channels. But again, we do not pay for any of those channels that have to have a subscription. We just use the free ones, and we've been just fine with it. We've been doing this for, my husband and I've been married now for just over 9 years, and yes, there are some of the latest shows that people talk about that they're like, oh, this is a great show, and we're not able to watch them because you have to pay for the channel to be able to access that television show. So maybe we are missing out on some things. But in the big picture, there are other ways that we would prefer to spend our money than on those subscriptions. And we try to not spend a whole lot of time watching television anyways, and so we're happy with just the simpler way of doing it. So those two, like I said, any subscriptions, we don't even do like newspaper or magazine subscriptions. If we were to entertain something like that, it would have to be something that we were gaining enough benefit from that subscription that it would warrant the fee for it. But like I say, as a rule, we have just chosen to stay away from those sorts of things. And that saves a lot of money, because sometimes it seems like when you get into the habit of spending more and it's like, man, where is our money going? It's all the little things. It's maybe not the big thing that we're buying. It's a bunch of little things. And that's where I feel like this falls into that category of it's a bunch of small things. You think, oh, it's just $10 for this channel, or it's just $5 for this app. But then when you do that every month and you have a few of them, it adds up really quickly. The point with that is that there is an option. You can choose to not pay for the thing, not pay for the subscription, to make do with what you have. And y'all are gonna find that is kind of the theme through this whole video, is being okay with what you have, rather than having to chase after the trends or do the newest thing or have the newest app or the newest TV series be able to watch and keep up with. It's okay to not do that. And moving on to my next one, fits along with that, little bit bigger ticket item in my mind, and that is the vehicles that we drive. So we do not buy new vehicles, because the reality of it is, when you buy a brand new vehicle off of the dealership lot, you drive off the lot and it loses a considerable amount of value the day you drive it off the lot. It has nothing to do with the miles on it, the care that you take of it. It has everything to do with the way the vehicle market is. And so if you buy a new vehicle, you're paying for that new vehicle price. But then if something happens and you have to resell that vehicle because maybe all of a sudden your family needs changed and you just need something else and you haven't been able to pay this one off yet, it's not worth what you paid for it anymore, just because it's not brand new anymore. And so we have just made the decision, we do not buy brand new vehicles. We go and we find used vehicles and try to be very smart in the shopping that way, because sometimes that can be a challenge to find a good used vehicle, to find an honest person to deal with. So that is a challenge in and of itself. But being willing to go look for that used vehicle and find that sometimes a needle in a haystack, that is one area I have to give my husband the credit. He is very good. He will look online at different vehicles and he will search and search and search and search and search and compare this vehicle to that vehicle. He will do research on this particular make and model. What were the problems that it faced? At what point in the mileage do we have to start worrying about problems? He's very good at investigating that so that we can make a smart decision when buying a used vehicle. But we don't buy it new, and then we buy it with the plan that we're going to drive it, we say, until the wheels fall off, or as we have kind of encountered a little bit with our family, until we outgrow it. But we don't just go buy a new vehicle because we decided we wanted something new. We purchase one that is going to work for us for the long term, and then we stick with it. And when something goes out in it, we fix it and we keep going, because most of the time it is cheaper to fix the vehicle that you have, even though it's a little inconvenient, than to just go buy a new one. The vehicles are a big one for us. The next one that I would like to mention is the fact that we try to limit how much ready-made food we buy at the store. As y'all have seen from the videos I've been putting out, I do a lot of cooking at home, and the majority of that I do for the health benefits and the reason that we honestly like the flavor of it better. It is better for us. But one thing to take into consideration is the cost. Because when you go to the grocery store, if you fill your buggy up with the pre-made foods or the ready to eat, the items that are very low effort at home, they generally cost more because you're paying a convenience fee. You're paying for the fact that somebody else already did the work, so you don't have to. And so we choose to not do that very often. There are times that we will buy those prepackaged foods because there's a particular situation where we just need something easy, or every now and then when we want to do something fun with the kids. And while that's okay for a sometimes thing, it is important to remember that it is sometimes a prime example of this for us. One dish that we like to eat frequently is crispy chicken salads. We used to go to the grocery store. I would buy the frozen breaded chicken strips, and then you just come in the house and you throw them in the oven and let them cook, and then you can put it over your salad greens. Super easy, it tastes good. We really liked it. And then as our family grew, we quickly began to realize it was one of those things. It wasn't as big of a deal when it was just myself and my husband when we first got married, or even when we just had one child that was eating. But as our family has grown, in order to buy enough of that breaded chicken to actually feed us, we went from a place where I could buy the bag and my husband and I could eat salads 2 or 3 times from that bag that we bought at the store, to now we have to buy 2 bags to feed our whole family one time. And so we have decided that I'm not going to spend the amount of money that it takes to buy those bags of breaded chicken. Instead, I found a recipe online to make my own breaded chicken. I can buy chicken breasts, just fresh chicken breasts, a whole lot cheaper than I can buy those breaded chicken strips. And I can come home and I can put together a breading on it. I can bake them in the oven myself. And not only is it a whole lot cheaper, but now I know there's a lot of ingredients that are in those pre-made ones that we're not consuming, because I get to make them with my own ingredients. I get to control what's in them. And you know, the taste is a little bit different than the store-bought ones, but again, it's just a choice that you make when you say, I'm not going to spend my money that way. I'm not going to choose to spend that amount of money on one meal when I can do something else and make it go a lot farther. And thus, cooking from scratch is beneficial for multiple reasons, not just the health benefits of it, but it truly is a cheaper way to go. And so that's why we choose to do that. The next one that I would like to address is in the area of family entertainment and activities. We have chosen to, for the most part, do things at home as a family. We try to prioritize weekends at home, evenings at home. We don't go out a whole lot just to go do something. If we're going to town, usually it's because we need to run errands or we're going to church, something like that. We don't go out a lot just to go out. Partially, you know, we do live out in the country. It's a little bit of a drive to get into town, so it's not real convenient to just run into town and do something. But also, we want our children to realize that we are able to be content at home. We're able to find ways to have fun and build memories at home. You know, we have been blessed with the fact that my husband and I have been able to purchase some acreage. So we have some land. We can get out and we can go walking around, and our kids are easy to entertain. We can go out. My husband likes to go take a metal detector out and walk around and dig up stuff. Sometimes it's nothing more than a piece of trash that they dig up, the little piece of tin metal or something. But the kids are enthralled because they get to go with daddy and they get to carry a shovel and they get to dig through the dirt, and they're entertained. And the expectations that we set up for our families are what's going to guide the decisions we make. If our kids think that we have to go to the movies or we have to go to a trampoline park or to a amusement park of some sort in order to have fun, then they're going to expect that. They're not going to be happy at home. And then we're going to feel pressured as parents to do those things for our kids. Whereas instead, if we put the focus on, let's have fun at home. You know, let's go outside and play a game of hide and seek. Let's have a family movie night here at home. Let's have a family game night. You know, we do that a lot now. Even though we still have very young children, they can still sit and play a game of memory. We'll all sit around the table and play memory. We can play Go Fish and Jenga. Our oldest child now has learned to play checkers. And so it's become a big deal that we will sit in the evenings and either my husband or I will sit and play checkers with that child. And so those types of things, sitting and reading books in the evenings. And on the weekends, just being willing to be at home, and maybe all you're doing is piddling around working on different things. If we're putting our priority on spending time as a family rather than the thing that we're paying to go and do, then that frees up a lot of finances in that way, because now we can just be at home and do something and it doesn't cost anything, or it costs very little because we're not having to pay for it. The same way we would to go get into an amusement park and let everybody go. And I will say on that, when we choose to go out and do something, we try to, make the most of those opportunities. So because we live in the country, it's a big deal when we get to go to town and get to go to the city park with our kids. They think that it is great when we get to go to the city park. So even having a family afternoon, just going to the city park and me and my husband actually getting involved in playing with them at the park, that's a huge thing. And all that cost us was the gas to go to town. And if you really want to make it fun, you make a picnic lunch. A picnic lunch. It can be the exact same thing that they would have eaten at the house that you pack up and take with you. But because you're not at home, because we're in a different environment, we're at the park, we're doing this as a family, it's so much more fun. And it doesn't cost any more than it would have to feed them that same food at home. The last thing that I wanted to mention for today is being willing to buy items secondhand or buy used items. This can be anything from the clothing that you wear to the appliances in your house to the tools that your husband buys. I'll start with the clothing. We use a lot of hand-me-downs because the majority of the kids' clothes are for them to run around outside and play in the dirt and do those sorts of things. So I would rather not have brand new clothing for them. That way when they get torn up, when they get stained, it's okay. It was play clothes. It already was in imperfect condition. It's okay. And it can take the pressure off of me of feeling like, oh, I just let them ruin that outfit. No, it was play clothes. If it wears out, it wears out. It's okay. But being willing to take hand-me-downs. And even for my husband and I, we're not above hand-me-downs. It's not quite as common for people to hand down clothes between adults. But when those opportunities arise, being willing to do it. So that's a big one. And then beyond just clothing let me go back to the clothing for a minute. When we get clothes for one particular child, when that child outgrows them, we save them. We do not get rid of and then buy new for each kid. I have boxes of clothes in the kids' closets that I have tried to keep organized as best I can, that are clothes that are either things that have been given to us that are too big for the oldest child and waiting for them to grow into, or too small for them waiting for the next kid to fit into. And I have the boys' closet has a setup and the girls' closet has a setup, so that we're not having to buy new for each kid, because that adds up in a hurry as well. Some of the clothes get worn out, and yes, by now things like shoes and socks for the older kids, they don't get passed down because they get worn out. And that's okay. Again, they're kids, they're supposed to play. They get to go outside and be rough, and that's a good thing. But for the most part, we save as much as we can so that we're limiting how much each child needs as they come into a new size and season, whatever. We try to, make things work between the sizes and go with what we have. Therefore, we're not buying as much new. So that's how we do the kids' clothes with a larger family and trying to not buy as many different things. Aside from clothing, this can even branch into things that you need around the house. When you need, this actually happened earlier this year. My dryer started making a weird noise, and my husband started doing some research into it, and he realized that the part that was going out was going to cost nearly as much as going to cost more than it was worth for the old dryer. And we just decided that it was time to get a new dryer. And when I say new, I don't mean brand new. We both decided that we didn't really want to go to an appliance store and buy a brand new dryer. And so we started watching Facebook Marketplace. And sure enough, it didn't take very long. We found one that was here local that a lady was selling for not a whole lot of money, that she just needed gone. My husband went and looked at it. It ran good. And so it has replaced that old dryer. And so now I have a new to me dryer. It's a used dryer. It doesn't matter. It still dries my clothes. And so things like that we do, that we, the washing machine that I currently have is one that was given to us when we got married. It's actually a very, very old washing machine. And I'm just kind of holding out until it decides one day it's going to die, because right now it still works really well. I would love to have a matching washer and dryer set. I see the ones you go into the stores and they have the advertisements for the washer and dryer, and I think, oh, that's so pretty. That would be so nice. Maybe that one would do some little something that mine doesn't do. But then I look at the price tag and I think, oh, never mind. Mine's paid for. I'm okay. Mine still works. So things like that you don't have to buy new. Buying the used dryer worked just fine. There are other things, in the house, the furniture even, that you can get a hold of secondhand if you're careful and you take the time to look. Generally, it takes longer to find things secondhand because you have to find the particular thing that you want. Depending on how picky you are, can make that search a little more time consuming, but it is possible. And it is something that if you set your mind to, this is what we're going to do, then you can make it work. And usually you can find something to make do until you're at a point that maybe you say, okay, we are going to go spend the money. We're going to buy this new. Another area that we like to buy used, my husband likes to go to estate sales and he likes to garage sale. And so he has found a lot of tools and items for his projects outside. He does a lot of handyman type stuff. He loves to do wood projects, metal projects, welding, all kinds of things. He's always got a handful of things going, and he has been able to many times go to estate sales or garage sales, or even just watch sales at stores sometimes, to buy tools or items that he needs and not have to buy them brand new. And so just having that awareness and being willing to look at the secondhand and not just, it has to be brand new. It's fun to buy the brand new, but there's many times that it doesn't have to be, and that's okay. So I think that's where I'm going to end it for today. Like I say, I've got a handful of more ideas, so if y'all like this, if this is something that is interesting, then let me know and I can make part 2 for this. And I hope that y'all have enjoyed it. Maybe let me know what are your top money saving tips if you're a one-income household, or even if you're not. What is your top tips for saving money in your family? Thank y'all for watching this today, and I hope that y'all have a really great rest of your week. Bye.